Ooh, we're live. Hey, everybody. I am working on getting my seller finance calculator all set up so that we can do a deal analysis on a property. Stand by. Let me share this link and get some people on here. Get on that Sub 2 Facebook group and the Creative Finance with Morphe Facebook group. And let's get some people on here. Looking at funding. Okay, I got an email here. Hey, Steve, tagging Caleb. And whatever questions you may have. So this is the lender being tagged in. Whatever questions you have, let us know, and we'll get them answered for you if there's anything you need on our half. Now, I'm guessing that that lender who can fund in 48 hours is also going to have points that get charged to us. So that money's not going to be cheap. So I'm going to factor that in when I do my underwriting. You better believe it. You know what I better do? I better start up OBS and use that. Swap out my camera. Maybe, if I can get this to work. Oh, it ain't working because I got it locked up in Zoom. Stand by. There we go. Oh, that's much better. Here we go. I'm going to start that for you. Pull this up, switch, OBS virtual camera. So much better. Alex, if you want on here, let me know. I'll send you the link. Get started in a couple of minutes. I'm getting my ducks in a row here. Pull up the property on my transaction coordinator platform. Oh, it's going to make me two-factor in when I'm going live. Love that. Got to love that. So this is a deal that came in. It's a pre-foreclosure. And what are we doing with this one? We're trying to take it down if we can. If not, we need to find another buyer real quick like. But I'm not too worried about that. I think the arrears is like 30K. We just got the number in. 29 and some change today came in for the arrears, which is beautiful. This is the one on Vassar Drive. Say Vassar or Vassar? How do we say that? see what kind of documents we got here. So just today we got the reinstatement. 10 days or now 8 days. Well, she's going to re-email for the extension. We're working on that. We're trying to get this extension done. Got the team member, good work. Got the first extension done on this foreclosure. So somebody died. Here's the story. Somebody dies, and then it passes to the heirs, and the payments aren't getting made, and now it's in foreclosure. But we're going to reinstate the loan, and therefore be able to. We're going to get it. We've got the payoff amount. Man, I can't get my words together. We're going to get the payoff amount, get caught up on that loan, and take it over. It's like a $400,000 house with $385, I think, left on the principal, which is pretty great. Let me DM Alex and see if he wants on this directly. He's trying to get everybody on here. Hey, man. Right. Love to be able to chat with people while we're working. You can get Alex in talking about this deal while I'm pulling my paperwork together. Here figures. Here we go. All right, so our numbers for this one, effective September 13th, we have very short time to do this. Sale date is currently scheduled for the 14th. So they missed 6 payments of 2,513. They missed 4 payments of 2,475. And now they need to get caught up. So if you've never seen one of these reinstatements, here you go. So they're, as it shows, late charges 413, late payments is 24,982, insufficient funds check fee, brokers, BPO brokers, something opinion. I can't remember. Checking the price of the house to make sure it's actually broker's professional opinion, not actually an appraisal. That's either a cheap appraisal or an expensive BPO, which is literally where they have a real estate broker walk through or around the house and say, yeah, I think it's worth about this much. Other property inspections. So if you're going into foreclosure, maybe you know this, maybe you don't. The late payments include taxes and insurance. So the mortgage company is going to keep it insured. They're going to keep making tax payments because they want to retain control over the property. They do not want you to lose the property to the city. They don't want you to lose the property to a fire, flood, earthquake, or whatever, and not have insurance. So they will continue paying that for you, but you're going to owe it back. And that's basically what happens when you start missing payments on here. So our total without officers' fees and costs, 28,733. So we need to come up with about $30,000 here, and we need to add another 20,000 on top for the inheritant, the person who inherited the property, inheritee. I don't know what you call them, but we need to make sure we're going to be able to cash flow this sucker. So let's re-underwrite, get our final numbers here. You know what I use to check comps? Not a lot. Now we've heard that Airbnb is not going to be legal there, but We'll just look into everything. Find out as much as we can. What else do I look at? Rentometer.com. I don't use the heck out of it, so I usually still have some free ones. Yeah, that'd be great. No, not Kansas City. That's where I live. Craigslist. Let's see what regional. And what am I going to do? Roll back to the main. Where is Aurora? Is it closer to? Let's see where it is on the map. See how much I know. Yeah, it's definitely the Denver market. Housing wanted. These other things we can look into. Check and see what this looks like. 3-bed, that's a 3-3. 1,400 square feet. 22 photos. Now, it's a nice house in good shape, but it's a little dated. And I know these photos aren't actually like live photos, so. Cool. A lot of information there. Yep, that auction is definitely coming up. Now we've got it under contract and we're going to try to lock it, get this thing finished up because it is running out of time, baby. Let's look at sold properties. 3-3 beds and baths. Yes, there are more expensive tools that do probably a better job, but I'm getting a feeling that most of these are going to be in the 350 to 450 range. Pretty well. I don't need to dig much deeper because this is a sub 2 for us. So are we in the right price range? If it's in decent repair, yeah, we're in the right price range. We care about the monthly payment at this point. Ooh, Realtor pulled some information. They used to present a little bit more info to me. But yeah, if we can pick this thing up for, what do we say, 385 or something like that and some change. Now let's look and see if there's homes around here. Type, houses, beds, 3 beds. Max. Let's go 1,200 with no max. Okay. 2,750 a month. I think our monthly rent, our monthly mortgage payment on this thing is going to be like 2,500 bucks a month. So these 3,200, 3,500 ones aren't too bad, but I'm really kind of wondering what this is going to turn out to be for us rent wise, because we definitely can't. Now that's all in joint housing, so I'm not worried about that. 3,200 for a house, that's not bad. Long-term rental would potentially work in this region. I'm not even drilling down to the specific neighborhood, right? But the fact that I'm seeing $2,400 and $2,600 rents, like that doesn't look too much different. So I need to see what area it's in. Long-term rental is not my primary strategy. See if I can find a copy of the mortgage statement in my other systems here. Oh. I'm gonna have to go with our estimate of 2,500 a month. Okay, so let's take this, clear out our old numbers. and do a fresh analysis. I'm just going to go 30% across this whole section. You can break it down individually, or you can just run that. That's what I do. And this spreadsheet is available inside the Sub 2 community. If you're not in Sub 2, sorry about it. Join Sub 2. I have a referral link. You're welcome to join it. Okay, so PITI number 1, $2,500 a month. Now that includes taxes and insurance. So those are going to be zeros. Why? Because PITI is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Principal and interest number 2, that's where our private money loan is going to come in if we need it. Now, what strategy? I'm going to make this the wrap strategy, and I'm going to make this one the corporate rental strategy. We'll compare the two side by side as I get more numbers. And I'm feeling woefully ill-equipped at the moment because normally I'm looking at a mortgage statement, and I don't have one of those in front of me. So with a wrap, here, what's one of the things about with a wrap? You don't have taxes and insurance. You have not much at all. Dude, I don't even know how much the HOA is. Alex, I need some help. Hop on here, man. Throw me some better numbers. I'm all disorganized. So in a wrap situation, really taxes, insurance are the tenant's responsibility, the buyer's responsibility. So it's not even that is part of what we consider an expense. And without looking at a mortgage statement, I really need to figure out how much of that is taxes and insurance. One of the ways I can do that is to, Zillow tracks every zoom in and zoom out that you do. Here we go. Often this will show you the taxes on the property, and I can guess the insurance. Really? Okay. I'm going to go with 4,500. That's a big bump, 2019 to 2020. Youch. Yep, I'm going to go with 4,500 divided by 12. This is just me making some assumption. Real uneducated. It's actually been a while since I've done a detailed underwriting. So $375 a month for taxes. Oh, Krista's on here. HOA is 42 a month. Cool. Thank you. You want to join the Zoom, Krista? DM me on Facebook and I'll get you the actually I'll just DM you the link now while I'm thinking about it. I've lost it on my windows. Now I see why they use things like Stream Deck. Where did Zoom go? For real, where did Zoom go? Derek Barton. You crack me up, man. Probably the lamest live video you've ever seen. Oh, there it is. Zoom got minimized into this little tiny frame. Here, Krista, I'm shooting that over to you, the invite, because I'd rather chat 2 persons instead of 1. Someone says, read my text message. And Angie, I will. I never get around to text anymore. It's real slow for me lately. Do we really not have a mortgage statement? I thought we did. I was going to do this underwriting with the whole mortgage statement and everything, but we'll get it figured out. What did I say for that? 345, 375 a month. My bad. Insurance out of that 2,500. Let's call that for a single family home. 1,100 a month. 1,100 a year. So 92, I'm gonna call it 95 bucks. Nope. Oh, wow. You guys got me all nervous. I've been typing monthly numbers into the annual, and then 42 times is 504. There we go. Now, what can we bring in on that? Corporate rental standpoint. Let's see if we find anything. How about that? Rooms, 3 plus. 32, that's barely making it. Dang. That ain't a lot of money. This is furnished though, so 35, 4,000. Cool, cool, cool. Better than traditional rental for sure. Let me plot ours on a map. Where am I in the town? Between 30 and 225. Oh, close to the Air Force Base. Aha. Learn something new, don't you? Oh, look at that. Right in our zone. The only one in the zone. 3,500 a month. I kind of like that. Pets welcome though. Interesting. Let's take a look. We could do that pretty easy. That doesn't mean it actually goes for 3,500 a month. We might have to go for 3,200 a month to get it rented. The 4-bed. Yeah. Okay. We could do that. Let's just assume we could get 3,500 a month for the sake of our numbers here. That's 42,000 annually. We have 2,500 PITI. Get rid of this extra info. Principal and interest number 2 we'll come back to. We're going to have to borrow. Actually, I'm going to do that right now. We're going to have to borrow. If we did an interest only loan, we're looking at 30,000 cash for arrears plus 20K to seller. That's 50 plus closing costs. I'm going to call that 5K just because of the weirdness of the situation. 55K miscellaneous cleanup, maybe paint job and some more furniture, another 15K. So now I'm up to 55 plus 15 is 70. I need 70K plus carrying costs for a couple of months. Oh, you know what? That's what this is for. Cash to seller. $20,000. Arrears. $30,000. Assignment fees. We're holding this one. Closing cost. $5,000. Renovation. $15,000. Holding cost. I'm going to call that 32. 3,000 a month? Yeah. And we'll go for up to 90 days. I want 90 days of slack time, so $9,000. Marketing, $1,000. Photos and the like. So our entry fee is $80,000. I need to borrow $80,000 to get into this deal. Well, that was PITI, so I don't need insurance and property tax on this. I don't believe that included the HOA. So now we're doing a little better, but if we borrow a bunch of money, $80,000, now let's look at this other tab here. I put 80,000 in here at 10%, assuming we could get that, $667. That's how I document stuff. PITI, hard money lender, or that's PML. 80K at 10%. This is just me thinking out loud, guys. Principal and interest number 3. I don't think we're going to take out another loan. Now, ooh, how does that work? I haven't done for corporate housing, but I imagine we have to cover those utilities. Yikes. 350, another 200 a month for grass, snow, and pool. Maybe those numbers are off. I'm just trying to spitball here and see if we can get pretty close. CapEx and maintenance and management and all those things are probably going to be pushing 30% still. I don't like this. That's not looking too good. What am I missing? Do they pay utilities or pay you back for utilities, or is it flat rate? Ooh. So even if it was an Airbnb, let's look at this one. 3, and yes, the data is getting stale on airdata.rabu. That doesn't look good at all. So the more I look at this, the less I like it for a short-term rental. A long-term rental, at least the tenant takes care of. The only thing you take care of is taxes and insurance and maintenance. But if you have to pay utilities, that hurts. All right, so let's filter this immediately. I only want stuff with 4 stars and higher because I'm not going to compete with 3-star listings. Actually, I should do 4.5 because we're only going to operate something that's worthwhile. 3-mile radius, minimum guest reviews. I definitely wanted to have at least 5 reviews. I'm only comparing myself with stuff that's got at least 50+% occupancy, not stuff where people go on vacation every once in a while. Yes, I understand short-term rental is probably restricted in this area. That's a sidebar conversation we already had. 3, okay. We do not have a pool. That's like if I had to pick one thing that I cared about to remove for comps, $3,200. So the furnished finder and Airbnb with AirDNA, at least the older numbers, are still on par. Let's look at the map. So my subject property is here. Not a whole lot of comps. There's some in the 4,000s. Let's go back to the list and comp these. Where's the lowest dollar one? Why is it low? It's cute. Large upper unit in Aurora with 3 king beds. I'm gonna knock that off. I don't like you. Get out of here. Okay, 3,400. Okay, what's with the other low ones? What if we increase that radius? 4 miles. I'm just exploring to see if there's a way to make this a deal. There's another 2,600. What makes this below 3,000? Because this is definitely not a deal if we're below $3,400. That's real tight. All right, so I need to view this on Airbnb to really see the difference. It doesn't have enough photos there because I'm trying to comp the deal, right? I'm trying to comp the property. Is it actually comparable? So we need to see all the photos. This is all the photos. Okay, no wonder they're doing so poorly. They literally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 photos, 8, 9, 10 photos. I'm sure it's a super cute property. Look at that fence. That's a nice fence back there. I don't understand it. They don't let you see the outside of the house. Entire home. And they're a super, is that a super host badge? What? Wow. I don't get it. Why is this doing so poorly? Probably because people don't know enough about it. I'm not going to comp with that. No way. Uncheck that. We're going to have beautiful photos. We're going to pay for photos. Okay, so we're still right here in the 3,200 range. That's not enough for me to be real happy with it, with the PITI $2,500 as a base rate. Nope, not cool with that. But let's underwrite it if it were. So let's call it $3,300 being optimistic here. Back to this. Ooh, that's already lower. And what I'd be looking at, if we're zero cash into the deal, right? That's borrowing $80,000 to do that. If we took that off and we had 20% for management, that's what I want to take as an assumption. And then, what is that? Nope. I think more like 9%. Still 29, 30%, just about. Might as well have left the 30% in place, right? So utilities are probably going to push up to 400 if we include internet and whatnot. And unless the HOA does snow removal, which I'm not confident about. I just don't know. But that's not a deal. So if we take all this out, nope, that ain't a deal. This looks more and more and more like a wrap. We're gonna have to get this in as a wrap. So what do those numbers look like? Well, let's come over here and see what we can do. Oh, that's the wrong spreadsheet. Hang on. Let me pause this. There we go. You can see me from 2 angles while I go switch spreadsheets. It's like a changing room for my computer. Oh, let's see. Where's the private spreadsheet? It is, ooh, it's link shared. Oh, anybody at my company can see it. That's cool. All right. So I don't care if you see the link because you won't be able to access it. Man, Kristen, Alex, you really won't show up for this? Could use some banter and commentary, guys. I feel like I need to go pen and paper for a minute. Maybe iPad. Oh, are you kidding me? Update Zoom and it requires another plugin to share the iPad every time. You never do updates, kids. It's actually really fast. I'll give it that. All right, so our purchase price is 385 plus 20K to seller. Plus 30K arrears. I know that's, well, does my notice show me how much of that is principal and how much is interest? I sure wish they would. Just that the arrears is 24,982. Most of that is interest. Well, I can get a guess. I can get a guess. Hold on, I'll pull up my spreadsheet. The seller finance one. I'm going to put in a loan for 400,000. Again, I'm spitballing here. I'm going to put a loan for $400,000 at 3% interest on 30 years. Nope, that's not $2,500 a month. Thought this was a 3% loan. 3.5. Are my PITI numbers off? Dude, this is killing me without a mortgage statement. Because when I'm looking at this, thing, a $400,000 loan at 3.5% interest over 30 years is $1,700, not $2,500. So I walked into this with an assumption of $2,500 a month, but that ain't what I'm finding out. 6 payments of $2,513 each. Why are the payments like that? Was this after are these catch-up payments after like a forbearance or something like that? What's the actual monthly? Because this has me downright concerned. Dang. I'm having a real hard time believing those numbers now. Anyway, let's assume it is $2,500. What do I got to do to ratchet that up? 5%? No, that's not going to be it. This is how I normally spitball numbers to see if I can get around that. All right, I'm fairly close. On a $450,000 loan at a $2,500 monthly payment, my interest is $1,800 and my principal is $540. The interest gradually creeps down. I'm going to call it $1,800 per payment. So I'm catching up a bunch of interest, but I'm not paying down the principal a whole lot when I pay those arrears. So I'm not sure what the balance is going to be at that point. You thought it was around 309 on Airbnb? Well, but we can't do Airbnb anyway. Pretty sure. Where was I? So let's say I'm doing $550 per payment. We got 10 missed payments. 10 times 550, $5,500. My principal balance is only going to go to like 380, 379 after our arrears gets caught up. So our cash to close is basically 55K with closing costs. Where'd this go? Where'd my okay go? It's making me install a plugin again to share my iPad. Come on, Zoom. This has got to be the worst live in the history of underwritings. I thought I'd just walk in and use the numbers that were going to be sitting in front of me, and then there's not a mortgage statement. And now I'm all confused, like looking super expert today. It's pretty great. All right, so our cost into the deal, let's start this over. We're gonna have a mortgage balance of approximately 380 after we do the arrears, right? That's what's gonna be left over, plus 20, plus 30. This is seller. This is arrears and fees and all that stuff. So 380 plus 50 is 430. Your chance to really look like an idiot. You can't do the math in your head when you're underslept. Okay, good. My calculator checks out. So we're into this for 430K price tag with what? 55K cash into the deal. So if I can get from a homestead buyer, if I can sell on seller finance, aka a wrap, and pull in, oh, you know what's, if we could sell for 470, what's ARV on this thing? Because we can price it 10 or 15% over that. ARV is probably 475 times 1.15. No, we're not selling it for 540. We could probably sell it for 525. So 525K sale price. Minus our mortgage of 380. There's 145K left. Minus our 50 that we brought to the closing table. Actually, our 55 as far as expenses go, because we don't want to have to, we want that covered by the down payment. It's 90K equity there that we can play with. So if we had 525 and we could get a 10% down payment, is going to be not a lot of money. I'd really like to fully recover our costs and walk away with at least $5,000 a piece. So 55 plus 15, because there's 3 of us in there. But that comes furnished. We could probably sell it for more than that. So if we get a down payment, I think a down payment of 70 to 80K in here would be pretty realistic. Let me bump this up to 540 minus 80K. $460. So we'd be seller financing 460K. Oh my goodness. I don't know where my charger went. We'll see what happens with the iPad when the battery gets low. So we're going to seller finance 460K at like, I don't know, if we don't want them to refi too quickly, 7 or 8%. That's a lot. Let's try that. I'm not the most aggressive salesperson on this stuff. I would like to stick around for a while. So a $460,000 seller finance. Now let's break that into its 2 parts. We've got 380, and I'm going to assume this is at 3% because I don't even know anymore. Plus, what is that? 460 minus 380 is 80K in yeah, my headset shuts off when I don't have anybody talking back to me. So that's what you guys get. A couple of people don't. Hold on. Krista says she's talking to me. Doesn't feel like it because you ain't here. PropStream says 540K ARV. Okay, so we'd be selling above that. Anyway, but here's how the wrap works, right? We're gonna put a new wrapper around this entire balance 7.5% interest on 460K, but whatever this payment is on 380K at 3% has to come out of that. The rest of it's ours to keep. And if I don't have a mortgage statement, it's really hard for me to tell what that number is actually supposed to be. But if we assume it's 2,500 minus taxes and insurance, what do we figure that number was going to be with taxes and insurance? I know you said taxes are 4,000, but they're going to end up going up. So 375 plus 92, that's 467. So $2,000 a month is principal and interest. So now I need to know 460K at 7%, 30-year equals what payment per month? And then I'm going to subtract 2K to the underlying debt. And that's our potential cash flow there, because taxes and insurance will be on the wrap buyer. So let's pull up our, oh, I have it open, but I'm not going to switch screens yet. So if we sold, if we had $460,000, I just want to finish the numbers. We can adjust up later. $540,000 minus a down payment of, what did I say? 80. Okay, 460,000 at 7.5% interest. That's 3,200 bucks a month. Will it sell for that monthly payment? I guess if you can't get a loan and you get home ownership for that. So 3216. What I'm seeing is this number right here is not much different than if we did a corporate rental, except now we're not responsible for taxes and insurance. So between the two strategies, there's not a lot of benefit, even right here. And this number can go up depending upon our actual sale price. But if we're financing 460K, they bring 80K down payment. We're bringing and we're financing 460K at 7.5%. That's absolutely beautiful. Then that's 3,216 a month minus that 2K is 1,216 a month in cash flow. And we're not doing maintenance, taxes, or insurance. And if they default, we can either foreclose or cancel that. So that doesn't sound too bad. Lower maintenance and management. We just have to borrow. The strategy here with this whole wrap strategy, what we need to do is borrow the cash to close for like up to, I'd say if I can get it for up to 6 months, great, but I'm definitely going to pay it back before that. So borrow the cash to close or get a long escrow period. But guess what? The auction's like next Wednesday or something like that. So that ain't happening. We're going to have to actually close on it and then sell it. So we need to borrow enough to carry costs to close. That's 55K. 55K. That's cash to close. Wow, you know what? I need a nap. We'll do it live. Plus carrying costs, I'm going to say 3K a month. So another 9 grand for 90 days. Call it 10 grand. So if I can borrow 65K at 10 to 12%, I'm pretty happy short term. Maybe a point or two up front, something like that. Or maybe a higher interest rate and no points. And that can be secured by the property because there's equity in the property when we acquire it. We can write a promissory note and a deed of trust. So wrap looks like a pretty simple strategy long term. I think I'm actually going to wrap up my analysis right here, and then I'm going to go dig for any more copies of paperwork so I can refine the numbers, because I can't get much more refined than this right now without actuals. And I thought comping was going to be a little easier than it actually turned out to be. So that's what you get for doing it live, isn't it? Oh, Angie says taxes will be prorated at closing. Here's what I have recently discovered as I do more deals doing sub twos. We're transferring the escrow with, let me stop my screen share. We are transferring the escrow with the property. And so the whole proration thing, if taxes and insurance have been paid so far, and there's an escrow account, which we will be catching up if we pay arrears, that will transfer with the property. So I've had to go back on settlement statements and correct it to where, no, we're not actually doing a prorated taxes, because they've either been paid into escrow and they're sitting and the escrow account comes with us with the property, or something along those lines. So watch for that when you're doing a sub two. Make sure you're not on the receiving end of the bad end of that. But also, it seems pretty fair to just say, nope, what comes with the property comes with the property. And I've started having people sign an affidavit of understanding where they're saying the impound account comes with the property. And since that's the case, oh, I can switch back. You can see two angles of me while I talk. The impound account comes with the property, and therefore there's no need to prorate taxes and insurance because they've been prorated on a monthly basis into that impound account, which comes with the property. And therefore any overage, which gets paid back, is now coming to the buyer, and any shortfall that has to be caught up is the responsibility of the buyer. But the seller's looking for a clean break. And so we're going to accept things as they are. You can inspect that account if you want to and see if it's accurate or expected to be accurate. But we don't need to also prorate taxes. I had a deal getting pretty rocky because taxes were paid at like the end of the year, and it was going to be like somebody's going to get like $11,000 cash, and then the taxes were going to bring them down to like $3,000 cash plus some other expenses. They were literally going to walk away with $175 out of $11,000. The contract said $11,000 cash to seller, but all the closing costs on the seller's side, catching up taxes and all that stuff, ate all of it up, which wasn't no good. So, but I found that the escrow account was actually a fairly substantial balance with the taxes. So we're able to fix that. .4%. Man, I'm super slow reading your comments, Krista. We're going to have to plan this better next time. But I do appreciate you attending. Round 2 is going to be way better next time we do this. I should do this once or twice a month. Just underwrite somebody's deal. Maybe they'll bring me more information than I had for the deal that I'm actually on. What a shame. All right, I'm going to cut this off tonight. Go see if I can find better documentation, but I feel like I'm going to